On this week's episode of the Superhero Show, we'll find out if Batman Caped Crusader can stand in front of lightning as good as Batman the Animated Series. We'll find out if Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles can start a new storyline as good as Batman the Animated Series. And we'll find out if Venom and Carnage can shake hands and just be fucking friends as good as Batman the Animated Series. All of that and more on an all-new episode of the Superhero Show. Hello, nerds, and welcome to the Superhero Show, the only podcast ever created that talks about the only things that we want to talk about, if and only if they are TV shows that are based on comic books. My name is Ryan, and I will be the host for this evening, the Cletus, if you will. I feel like that most people who meet me, they're like, your name's Ryan? Should it not have been Cletus? Look at your hair. Look at your demeanor. Look at the way that you laugh. Look at the way that you're always in prison, hoping that some symbiote will come and save you. And here's my Eddie Brock. It's Mike.
Oh, I'm your alien poppy. It's so happy to be here. We are excited to have you, the host.
Oh, okay. Let's not do the pronoun game, Mike. Like that.
We don't want to do that?
We can't we do that all night.
I don't think that. I think we could do it. We don't think you could do it.
When I call you Daddy, do you take it sarcastically, or do you feel like it's sincere?
No, I feel like a blush of pride, a rise in my chest. I don't know how pride feels, actually, so I don't even know how to fake it.
Now, I am older than you. I raised you for 3 years, and I married your mother for one of the probably the best 6 months of my life. But still, you win.
Our vibes are I'm the dad.
Yeah, I think that's the case, right? And
I'm just a bit of a scold, and I've gotten used to that the older I get. It used to bother me, but like my pants just naturally ride right below my nips. I have dad vibes.
And that belt comes off right away. Not for sex, but for whipping.
Oh, I'm old school. Even though I'm fully a millennial, I will whip some kids. Doesn't matter if they're my own.
You know what's hilarious about you and the way that you abuse is that you never want to pick out your own Switch. You always make me go get it.
Yeah, go get me my Switch. I'm the one person who watched The Slap. I was going to have more jokes, but I'm just going to end there.
You at one point in our relationship said, and I quote, "The Slap is the Studio 60 of our generation."
Truer words.
You said that I just wish that Aaron
It's no John from Cincinnati, but...
something low rising sun. Mike, we have an incredible show for the people tonight. First of all, I'm in charge.
Strap in, folks.
Do you think it's rude? And we'll get to why we're talking about this later, but do you think it's rude or accurate that I, with my hair color, is the Cletus, and you, with your hair color, is the Eddie Brock?
I mean, you're the one who said it, so I can't say no. Also, you're such a pro, you don't often laugh on the show, but if you did, people would know why you're the Cletus.
Well, I have my, some professionals have their cough button. I have my Cletus laugh button, which I have to push a lot.
Imagine if Eric from Billy Madison was a cartoon, was no longer a cartoon. That's you. So...
Mike, let me right now point out your amazing improv skills because of yes anding. You said, well, you're the one that said it, and so then I have to guess. I guess I go along with it. That's so good for a skit or a bit.
I didn't know we were doing skits and bits tonight. Ryan's hosting, baby. We're doing skits and bits.
Okay, I do need a location though, real quick.
Sketches and fetches. Starbucks.
Okay, I'm gonna go pee at that Starbucks. But
the
before
code is
that,
2357.
Oh, shit. Thank you so much. You ever not been told? You ever been in such a state where the Starbucks employee doesn't tell you the code?
Maybe if you showered and came back, I would tell you the code.
Yeah. The way that I look, sometimes they'll be like, that's not for you.
The last time I walked into a Starbucks, it was at such a pace. I just went, code! And they said it at me, and I just couldn't slow down because things were broiling.
Did you have your hand on your backside?
Oh, no, it was already on my belt. People thought kids were going to get whipped, but not today.
Christ almighty. There is I
admitted it was today.
There is just no way that I can come into an episode of this podcast. There's no piece of shit that I can be where you won't top me immediately with true ass stories that happen in real life.
It's the kind of friend I am, man. You want to be the villain? I'll jump on that villain grenade.
I really appreciate it. What's the classic comedy duo Jimmy Carter and Jimmy Dean Sausage? Those two.
I love those two. Those two crazy cats just building houses out of sausage.
Who's on first? The first baseman. Get out of here. Mike, we have an incredible show. First of all, you and I are here.
Yeah.
And I feel like this isn't like a panel show that you're used to, but like this is an interview show where TV shows will be in the background, but really it's a dive into cracking each other's shell. What makes you tick? What makes me talk?
Right. We'll play them. We'll play the TV shows in the background, but we're going to be talking over them.
Right. So our review will be listen really closely to them in the background, and then you review them for yourself because we don't have time for that. We are cracking each other's shells open.
We're trying to empower you, the listener.
Right. So, but also keep us on while you're watching the show, even though you'll hear the show in the background while you're watching the show.
Yeah. You're not going to miss this.
That audio is going to be hard to like sync up. It's fine. Mike, can I tell you about a show called, how about Kite Man, Hell Yeah?
I would love to hear about it.
How about Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Now, what's going on with those crazy kids?
How about Spider-Man the Animated Series?
What? In this economy?
Unfortunately, we can't talk about any of those right now because Batman Caped Crusader just had its first season finale when we come back. On the first season finale of Batman Caped Crusader, Bruce and Babs try to convince a locked-up Harvey that he should testify against Thorn so he can get out of jail. Harvey remains unconvinced, but Thorn can't take that chance, so he has Dent broken out of prison so he can off him. Mob style. Batman, Montoya, and the Gordons try to keep him alive and get him to City Hall to testify before Thorn's gang gets to him. Taste buds, before we get into our overall feelings on the season and where it stands in animated Batman history, and that fucking ending, which we're going to talk about, let's focus on this particular story, and maybe the last episode as well. How was this as a way to wrap up the first season of Batman, Caped Crusader?
It's just a way to keep you on your toes, babe, because Two-Face is one of like the bigger villains in the Batman lore, and he dead. Spoiler alert, obviously. And so to watch the journey of Harvey, who's kind of a douche, but going for the right thing and then falling into the traps because it's the world we live in and he's not Batman, into like, I think the best he becomes is this episode post Two-Face and realizing it's when he jumps in front of the bullet for Barbara. He's fully become, has so many versions of Harvey start off that version, and this guy had to climb through the gutter to get to there.
So that's such a good point, Mike, because are we watching the Two-Face version of Harvey jumping from the bullet that Harvey would never do because he is a piece of shit?
Oh, shit. The angry piece of shit, that's Harvey.
That's the other twin.
Oh, my
They
goodness.
killed the wrong twin. They left, in the Simpsons episode, they left the wrong twin in the attic, and that's sort of what I got. Or maybe Harvey's learning, but, like, I don't know, man. I feel like that his whole battle with himself wasn't going to happen unless he got his face black hole staple gunned through. And I was not here last week to talk about how fucking horrifying lack of scars is to scars. They're like his, if you imagine like all of the black on half of his face as like an actual hole, there's a piece of his eye that is just hanging out in the midst of like mostly black and barely hanging on, and
What's
is
in
horrifying.
There? Well, why isn't there at least a skull? Why did his face become partially black holed?
Like if Bruce pokes his finger, what's he gonna find?
Mr. Mixel-Splitlick, probably.
Probably. Let me ask you this, because you are a longtime comic book reader, longtime comic book TV watcher. If Harvey comes back, do you lose any faith in the show?
Nah, because comic books.
But couldn't we just have one nice thing?
It would, I guess, not lose faith, but I'd be like, okay, you're that, instead of what I thought you were, which is brave. And I'm sorry to repeat one of the cruelest things I've ever said to you on air talking about a cartoon. To have a note of finality, I think, is awesome and important, and really, like, if we're in a world where anything can happen, hell yes, let's do that. And we're in a world where Barbara can just ask Batman for his phone number and gets it.
And like, he didn't even think, he was like, Klondike 55678. And I'm too young to know what the fuck Klondike means. Like, everybody from the old school always uses that. But yeah, you dial KL number.
And it felt like it called an operator who just knows, like, oh, Batman, you're here for Batman. Okay. Like, I want to know who that person on the team is. Can we get an episode just about the operator for Batman?
Well, it was Alfred. Oh. Who I call Alfred, but you probably call Pennyworth. Because you're
Pennyworth. I don't think he's a person.
Yeah, you're kind of a dick. The other thing this episode did is two-parted it, where we had sort of gotten used to one and dones, which I love. Right. It's such a breath of fresh air. This thing that I complained about forever, the monster of the week, the lack of serialization, is so refreshing. And now, because they spent the season doing this, it gives this storyline so much more importance.
And because I think we've said it before, maybe it was last week and you weren't here, is it is a true two-parter, but it's also, this is the story that's been bubbling this whole season, is actually the story of Harvey. And what a cool way to do that on the margins.
And yeah, and then we get our whole team together. We mentioned Alfred before, who was mostly in the sidelines this episode. But when Batman is called to get Harvey Dent from one part of the city to the other, which is a classic, noir storyline.
And it's the foggiest it's ever been.
Of course. Like, all the sewers are shooting out that smoke that they shoot out for some reason.
Smell good.
I think they're Ninja Turtle farts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
they deal with that in the episode we're going to be talking about later, actually.
Have we seen, what is Gotham's version of Ninja Turtles? Is it just 4 killer crocs trying to learn?
It's 4 killer crocs, but they wear their bandanas the scary way.
Oh, over the penis and balls?
It's just, that's all they're wearing, and it's over the penis and balls.
But we know that Babs and Commissioner Gordon and Montoya are going to be there, and they're going to be the ones who help this criminal get to the point where they can report on other criminals. Now, let's get to the Harvey Dent of it all. When he's being somebody, and I don't know who it is, but when he's being somebody, he's like, I don't deserve anything. Yeah. I could get out of jail by, like, reporting on people, but, like, I killed people. Isn't he kind of right?
Yeah. He's finally realizing the justice system, or as I like to call it, Ryan, the injustice system,
shit, that's good.
Is a little corrupt. And he's in it being like, no, I took advantage of it for so long on the outside. I do belong in here. Even though they're just like, we'll cut you a deal. I don't know if they're saying we'll get you out. They're just like, yeah, we'll get you a deal. Just like, rat, man. Him saying, no, I should keep my mouth shut is not the right answer.
And technically, you cannot keep your mouth shut. Half of it is just like, you're never going to be able to close that again.
Disgusting lack of flesh.
Yeah, like those teeth are going to be cold forever.
Oh, cold teeth are the worst. That's why he's in such a bad mood.
You ever accidentally open your mouth on a roller coaster and your teethies get so cold?
Too cold teethies. Might as well just rub ice against them.
Is Bruce, and I really want to dive into Bruce, but is Bruce saying this to Harvey because they were friends? Like, you don't belong here, even though I witnessed you commit crimes after I took you out to dinner, which I should not have done.
It feels like Bruce. No, I think Bruce is trying to say what he thinks Harvey would think Bruce would say to get him. He needs the deets. He needs the info. Especially Batman slips out and even Bruce looks surprised. And Harvey looks terrified because he's never seen, like, Bruce is such a dilettante, and he's just like, what's going on? Let's all party. And then he's just like, you fucking worm, you tell me right. And he's like, whoa, what? And he's like, what? Yeah, no, I'm sorry.
On this podcast, we'll have, like, moment of the week sometimes, and then at the end of the year, we'll do, like, maybe moment of the show or whatever. Can we have moment of the character? Can we have moment of, like, the 120-year-old character, whatever this is? Bruce Wayne is sitting, he goes to visit his friend Harvey Dent, who's becoming Two-Face, and he's like, well, no, just give up some names. And he's like, oh, I don't want to do that. And he's like, you will give up some names. And I have never seen Bruce Wayne do that in my life. And it was fascinating. Like, everyone always talks about, people talk around Batman that he's as bad as the villains.
Right.
He has issues.
Yeah, he's using definitely intimidating tactics. which we're used to when he has the hood on.
Right.
But when he looks like Bruce and does it, you're like, whoa, 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 you're just a rich dude doing this? No.
At the end of the episode, the Gordons and Montoya are like, please, rat. Like, we really need you to.
Yeah.
And then Batman just grabs him and says, you will, rat. And that's fine because he's got the cowl. But, like, to have Bruce Wayne in his $2,000 suit lose his mind for a second.
The guy in the $2,000 suit is going to ask his friend to rat.
And eventually we get to the end, and we're almost safe. Babs is probably the most competent superhero on this TV show.
She is. So we have a superhero and 2 policemen. She is a public defender and fights better than everybody.
Right.
She just owns it.
Well, every time she defends somebody publicly, you can't do it in private if you have her job. You can't, like, go in a closet and, like, whisper. You have to, like, announce it. She's like, hey, give me one tip for, like, beating up a bad guy. Can you just show me how to, like, beat up a bad guy real quick? And so she has a lot of tips, and she is amazing. She handcuffs herself. Instead of handcuffing Harvey to the car or to his other arm, handcuffs him to her. So now they
she
are
realizes
linked.
he has a death wish. Mm-hmm. And so she's like, nope, because I think there's good enough in you. And it's one of those gambles, like, I will make the good in you by showing I have faith in you, even though I don't have the faith in you. Like, this is 5th dimensional chess, Ryan.
When we watch a show like this, even a show like this that we love, and we love Commissioner Gordon, and we love Montoya, we're still always wary of propaganda. Are you ever wary of a lawyer ganda? Like, absolutely, would this never happen?
Yeah, because as I so cleverly coined the injustice system, I don't trust any of them except the public defenders, because they do it for no money, and when they're bad, it's just they're exhausted and overworked. But, like, I think if you become a public defender, you believe in the truth of the law, right? The spirit of law and helping. If you become, like, a corporate lawyer, then you're a schmuck.
I'm trying to think, because, like, you don't have any relatives that are public defenders. Who in your life was a public defender at one point that made you believe that? Like, what person or character have you ever come across that would make you think
It's my real dad and your real dad and our real dad. It's one Sandy Cohen, Sanford.
Hey, if you're not brothers with somebody, switch your parents into the same parents, and then you're brothers now, because our dad is Sandy Cohen.
Adopt a fictional dad, Sanford Cohen. But he's ours. Get your own.
And this is like a shout out to Ryan Atwood. We're going to move into that pool house too, so it's going to get a little cozy. We don't need 3 beds. That bed is big enough, but it's going to be
3 spoons, baby.
It's going to be the 3 of us. Let's talk about one of the lesser climaxes, because Harvey Dent does get shot defending Babs, and that was so honorable, and we'll say that he's dead forever. But Batman gets home from his night at work, and says, you wash this car and you wax it and you make sure it's perfect. Pennyworth. I mean, Alfred. And we really had a season-long through line of him realizing that this person is a human.
Alfred is a person. It's not even like, oh, and you raised me and you're my parental figure. It's just you are worth saying your first name to and saying thank you when you do things for me.
He's worth 1 penny is what he said.
He's worth 1 singular penny.
He's worth a penny. Part of the reason that I love this season, and I really want to get to your thoughts about the overall season because of what a BTAS fan you are, but part of the reason I love this season is because we did not have a male Penguin, we did not have a Riddler, we did not have a Mr. Freeze, and we definitely did not have a Joker. And this episode followed the same track that Batman Begins did of, let's just try it out. But then at the end, we'll give you a little bit of that.
And it was a cool way to do it. I do think it was cooler than showing just a playing card. Showing different failed versions of the Joker gas effects on people, and then watching it. I think that would have been even cooler than even showing his smile, just ending it there. And then we get him. So this is going to be like a scientist Joker. I don't know if we've ever seen him being like, test tube AB didn't work. But
I don't know if we saw that here either, because it seemed like he just kept saying, oh, that didn't work on this person. Try it again. Didn't work on this person.
And it was, I thought, I understand, I guess, why as a business you need Joker, but I don't. I think Batman has such a good rogues gallery. They did such a good job this season. It would have been cool. What if we just didn't? What if we just didn't? Well, and because I'm a BTAS guy, and I don't want to hold up everybody to Mark Hamill, but I do not like. We heard him say 2 words, but I do not like this Joker's voice. It was just growly and not specific.
And it was weird because the 2 words were Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill.
I was a little bit nervous about the show because I have loved this from start to finish. Like,
right.
I've been on record saying that although X-Men 97 has gotten the most buzz of the year, this might be the show of the year that nobody has said 1 word about. Like, we might be the only podcast watching it. But I was nervous because I remembered that James Gunn said, when I take over DC, everything will be part of it. So, like,
right.
Creature Commandos, because, of course, that's what you start with. That's going to be part of it. I didn't know if this was going to get renewed, and it just did. So there will be... And I guess Robert Pattinson's Batman is not part of it. So there will be... So James Gunn is a liar.
I think it was a good sign that Matt Reeves is one of the producers, too. We really freaked out about Bruce Timm and J.J. Abrams, right?
J.J. Abrams,
our producers. But Matt Reeves, who's behind... the Pattinson-averse. Pattinson. That's what people call him.
Robert Pattinson.
And I think he has a specific style. But so, like, I do... And there's Joker. Like, I do feel like he was like, it's all going to be connected. And he's like, well, except for the stuff that's not. Like, you just say stuff sometimes because you're enthusiastic and... But yes, I'm glad this isn't connected or canceled. It's cool and unique, and let's keep it in its own universe.
And everybody could do this. Marvel could do this. Valiant could do this with its upcoming universe, following up with
Malibu,
Vin Diesel's Bloodshot. Malibu, it's Prime movie. Is that Prime?
That's Prime. Who I learned about before I learned about Shazam.
Yeah.
So I was definitely like, we've already seen this in yellow.
Shazam copied this, despite it being made 140 years before it. I spoke my fears about the second season to my wife, and I said, I'm nervous that there won't be a second season because James Gunn took over, and she heard, and she was like, well, that's why the fashion is so incredible in the show. I'm glad he took over because she heard Tim Gunn. And she thought that this DC is going to, like, maybe bad stories from here on out, but everyone is going to look spectacular.
It's gonna look so good.
But you remember Catwoman, right?
Superheroes.
Catwoman jumping from roof to roof in that dress with the slit all the way up. Like, make it work, you know?
I could see Tim Gunn doing it.
Yeah, make it work. Mike, did you have a moment of the week from this episode?
I gave it away because I liked it too much. It was Batman slipping out of Bruce Wayne's mouth. Was just chill-inducing. It was so cool. Like the fog fight was all cool, and but like those little character moments in a cartoon, no less. Like, yeah, it was sweet.
This series was constantly surprising me, and if they had just tried to be BTAS, it would have been bad because we already have that, and you can't do that again. I can't believe how funny and shocking this series was the entire time. That is, I mean, if I announce something to be the moment of the character, then it's probably going to be the moment of the week where Bruce does that. But, like, nothing will replace BTAS. Is this a good fucking show?
Yes. Yeah, it's a good fucking show. Another great moment, and I don't feel like he's been talked about enough, is Flass, who is the worst cop. Like, we know Bullock is a dirtbag, but Flass is here. Even after he's been trying to kill the commissioner, the commissioner's daughter, another cop, Batman, Harvey Dent, he does shoot Harvey. Harvey jumps in front of it, and because he's trying to shoot Babs, and he's like, "It was a righteous shot. Why are you beating me up, Batman?" Like, he just goes into cop mode, like, and it's funny.
It was Locust. My car broke down. I had a flat tire. Dog ate my homework. And then Batman shoots at him 5 times.
Yeah, which around his head,
which was not a meme. Which makes me think that like this is clearly getting dwarfed by X-Men 97. Because if that was on X-Men, that would have been a meme. And then Batman, the world's greatest detective, takes that gun and hucks it into the river. I thought about that too.
I was like, but he did shoot at the public defender. You need his fingerprints on that fucker. And this is why people don't like vigilantes.
Let's talk about the ending real quick. Here's my moment of the week, just to stretch out the segment. He throws a batarang at the very end at Rupert Thorne's ear, which I saw on Reddit. People were saying, is this commentary on Donald Trump getting assassinated? But it brings up that old conversation of, like, why is Batman going after purse robbers when he can just hold the people who are actually responsible over the building and be like, stop doing this?
Yeah. Batman doesn't need to declare it was a righteous shot.
That's a whole vigilante thing.
You know where Thorne lives. Get his old butt and hanging about some windows.
And then from Thorne's perspective, if you are that hated, don't buy an apartment with a ton of just open windows and sit right next to the window.
Because if it's not Batman, it's going to be a sniper.
Sure. Or just a purse snatcher.
Or a purse snatcher just jumped through your windows trying to snatch your fat purse.
I did not know that you were Rupert Thorne, but I do want that purse. Could I have that purse real quick?
Oh, you have such a sexy big purse on your desk.
Give me that purse. Mike, speaking of none of that, and I really want not a single word that we have said so far said in what you're about to say, you've been working on a website. And I do want to point out that we have used the words a and the.
I have been working on website. Refreshing it, retooling it. Well, I'm saying a lot of things. I'm not saying a lot of things I can still say.
You know what? Do what you normally do and ignore me.
Okay, thank God. It's one people might know about, but it's been given a facelift. It looks so fresh, so clean, so good. You're going to want to go to cmb.com. That's right. A whole new fresh amount of designs. The certified Mervin's boys are back. Yes, is there still a sassy T-Rex on it? For sure. But now he's playing with Gak on one design. And another design, he has on one foot a roller skate. On the other hand, a skateboard. They used to be enemies. Now you can do both, kids. Certified Mervin's boy, all kinds of merch. Ryan, the T-Rex has a name now. What is that?
Devore
the Soar. We love it. We love Devore the Soar. He's so cool. He's so certified. And he will always remind you, it's not even Christmas at all.
People, which that's the part where I get confused. Where I want to complain about other people getting confused is that when Mike and I were growing up, people would just wear shirts with dinosaurs doing rad things.
Yeah,
just a fact. And then it went away. It went away for a while, and now it is coming back, and we love it. Why is that dinosaur not on a skateboard, going off a ramp, playing a Nintendo Switch, smoking meth? That is just what
the coolest things we did as kids.
Why is that? Like, that pterodactyl should be in the air, drinking Mountain Dew, Baja Cola, right?
Right.
Ordering whores for his father's birthday.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because he's a good son.
Yes, and all of that should be imprinted on a T-shirt. I see people with T-shirts that are like, "Go Team" or "Yay Win."
Waste. They're not certified Mervin's boys, Ryan.
It's a waste of a chest. What is the URL one more time?
cmb.com. We shortened it from last time.
Certified Mervin's boys. And
to quote to what is it when you like sort of quote to but change it?
Steal.
To steal from Jay-Z. Women, dust your shoulders off. You can be certified Mervin's boys too.
If you go to cmb.com and it's already owned by Cum Master Brian. That's a different thing. So that you went to cmb.org, go to cmb.com, and Mike, I think that your website sounds amazing.
Thank you.
But I do have some advice. If you go to cybersprout.org, cybersprout.
Do you find other disgusting stuff at cybersprout.org?
I do. I find cum monsters and...
I don't want to know. Cybersprout.net, I think, are...
Oh, cybersprout.net. Their design experts are well-versed in digital strategy and elegant design, designing the two wonderfully. They will do everything that you need to do. They are your partner for the digital world. They will help you with your website. How about this? Instead of selling one thing, sell more than one thing. And cybersprout.net will help you do that.
All right.
Do you want to do that?
Yeah, let's do that.
We're going to take the quickest of breaks, and when we come back, the pull list.
Ryan, do you want to know about the pull list?
I would love to, Mike.
Well, all we're doing is Kite Man Hell Yeah. On this week's episode of Kite Man Hell Yeah, Glider and Kite Man Hell Yeah are on the run trying to hide the anti-life equation, which leads to some shenanigans when a chicken gets its beak on it. Meanwhile, Malice's goddaddy Darkseid comes to celebrate the day he killed her parents, and then he ends up working with Helen and Lex to find the anti-life equation once and for all. Tasty Ryan asks you this. What situation do you wish you had Darkseid's choir in your day-to-day?
Oh, my God. Mike, this is all I wanted to talk about.
I know my audience.
I have some other questions.
The show is very good, but let's talk about this choir.
I have some other questions for you about this episode, but really all I wanted to talk about is that you are at your house. A lot of times we'll say that, like, you and I watch all these shows together in the pop filter movie theater.
Sure.
And that's mostly true. But Kite Man this week we watched at home, and every time Darkseid comes on and that choir is trying, like, please, Darkseid, don't kill us. It's not even like, I hope we get our paycheck. It's, please don't kill us. And they are working their butts off, and this is all I want in my life.
Just harmonized, improvised lyrics to whatever dumb shit he's saying and doing.
I'll say, like, there's the deodorant. Should I put it on today? I don't want to. And they'll be like, never
You
do
might
it.
smell.
No, they always agree with me. Where is...
I would die if I was a singer.
Where's Kite Man's kite? Do you think we're getting that before the end of the season?
Because it got Helen took it,
Threw it in
I
a
think
fire.
destroyed it. Yeah,
And
so
I will say, as like a father of a 3-year-old, they are $4.95 at Walmart. Like, you could get a kite easy.
but not his kites.
I mean, like, yeah, Elsa will be on the back, but
But with that level of structural integrity and strength, they make kites good these days. I bet his name is Kite Man. Hell yeah, I think he needs a kite.
I do too. At the end of this episode, Goldilocks, and correct me if I'm wrong, last episode you are not a Goldilocks, or like sometimes you like her, sometimes you hate her, and then sometimes she's right in the middle.
Yes, that is what I said.
Goldilocks flushed her ass down into the 80s toilet, and you are the timey-wimey guy on this podcast. So in Kite Man Hell Yeah's universe right now, is there a 45-year-old Goldilocks who has lived through the 80s and 90s and 2000s?
Oh my, who's just been a total fucking twat about everything.
Because you have, like, Bane knows. Bring 3 suckers.
Yeah,
Bring 3
yeah. When he said that was genius. He's like, I brought 3. Genius.
But, like, does she come into our timeline, but, like, she's an old haggard woman who hates fucking everything because no one will ever give her 3 options? Or did she go to a different offshoot of the Toiletiverse? The Skibbity Toilet, if you will.
The Skibbity. Oh, is this the Skibbity toilet riz I've heard so much about? They could go, we don't know yet. Right now, all we know is it goes to 1986 or whatever, but they could easily be like, it goes to different times. Who can control a toilet? And every day it's a different time.
I will say this about this show. Having Bane come on, great. Having Frank, the plant, do it like a special guest spot as if this is a sitcom, and he walked like they had to. And then he comes in and like there's all the applause. And then the 2-headed guy is whatever. Queen of Fables, that is too much interesting to me to have her just be like a side character.
Her whole world of powers and like. Yeah. So what are these people? Are they living when they're in the book and they can interact? What's going on? And they're unionizing.
That is the side show that I want right now.
Yes. About the unionizing fairy tale creatures? Or you just want Fables, the show.
Yeah, I know, but then ABC and Once Upon a Time stole it from them.
Sons of bitches.
God, comic book TV lore. Hansel and Gretel are... I'm going to go to Moment of the Week. Hansel and Gretel are the union leaders, and she kills Hansel and then says, now you're no one in Gretel. And doesn't even just say, you're Gretel. But because she killed your partner... And your partner is all like canonically named first. You're no one in Gretel. That's fucking badass.
And that is the most Ava Coleman from Abbott Elementary we've heard Queen of Fables be. She would say that. I have 2. One is Kite Man saying, it's hammer time. Please, Kite Man, don't hurt him. Which just fucking got me.
Such a good reference.
And then Bane, we find out, is a masterful storyteller that goes, I would invent stories for the rocks. They in the darkness were my only friends.
But like now we have Bane lore, right? Because it's now the darkness and the rocks. Yeah, now he has 2 things from his origin. Kite Man is on Thursday nights on HBO Max. Mike, we have more pull list.
Do we?
Yeah. On Totment this week, we reached the halfway point of the Totment season as one storyline ends and our next one begins. Night of the Mechazoids wraps up the Bishop story as humans and mutants must unite to take on, of course, you know what it is?
Shredder?
AI. It's After that, we head right into Wrath versus Water. It's the storm of the century, and the gang, including 5 satellite members, all split up to fix different aspects of the sewer. Taste buds, what do we think of the storytelling gimmick where, hey, we're all together and we love being together? Separate now.
For the first half of the season, I get it. Like, you're building up. Avengers Assemble did it as well. Like, every character gets their episode. Now we're all together. But at a certain point, be all together. We want to see these turtles be together.
I guess it's their thing, but you know who else's thing it was? The Netflix seasons of Arrested Development. And those are not highly looked upon. Yeah. The finale of the storyline, so episode 6, was fucking dope. Like, it really, really worked. They did all the things, and they got Bishop on their side. And then at the end, Bishop is given an offer, and like, she's like, well, I guess mutants are cool. Because her nephew or somebody's son has different colored eyes. And so she's like, oh,
yeah, that guy.
Right. Mutants can happen in all sorts of ways. And then at the end, she's given an offer by a much worse bad guy. She's like, hell yes, I'll take that. So she learned nothing, and that's how TV works. But then this one
villains work.
Raph is telling the first part of the story, and so now Splinter speaks with Raph's voice. And so I thought they were going to do like a Rashomon thing, but this is when the wheels came off, dude. Like, Yeah.
That's a bummer. Yeah, I think it had so much merit in the first capsule. But maybe that means this one ends, and then next season there could be some good again if you do it in like story bursts. So there's good stories and bad stories, just like the comics.
And I think I've said this before, but like, this is also why we don't cover Bat Wheels.
It's for kids.
Yeah, there's not a lot there. Ninja Turtles is all out now. You can watch that on
Paramount Plus.
We're going to take the quickest of breaks, and when we come back, Spider-Man the Animated Series.
Wrong show.
Now it's time for Mike, help me out here. The greatest soap opera in history.
Welcome to As Tasmania, bitch, a mini show within a show where we dive into the seminal and underrated after-school cartoon of the mid-90s, Spider-Man, the Animated Series.
And when we start off, some fucking guy has got the entire NYPD out his house or a found tower, and he is just launching grenades and bombs, and every time he launches something, he's like, tee-hee.
More annoying than that somehow, and not in like cool Joker laugh or a cool Hobgoblin laugh, and a really annoying new laugh.
Yeah, no, this is a new laugh that has set the bar for annoying. They're trying to get him out of there, and Spider-Man finally comes, kicks the door down, and Mike,
before Spider-Man, he doesn't get Lieutenant Lee, Spider-Man's buddy. She has like a mini bomb, like the size of a credit card, and just puts it on his door and blows it out, and she goes in alone, no helmet, no bulletproof vest, no SWAT. She's just there with a 6-shooter.
No pants, may I say. That
no
skirt
pants. She's in a skirt.
Yeah. That skirt is... She is working that skirt.
Well, she ran upstairs, so it's riding high.
Right. And that's before Spider-Man gets there?
Yeah.
Okay. Why don't you take over?
And then, of course, it's all... We're watching it, and we by we, I mean New Yorkers, and we cut to the Daily Bugle, and the news people are just watching TV, and JJJ and Robbie, he's like, how can one man keep the whole NYPD at bay? And Robbie's like, because he's not a man. Cassidy's a monster.
And Robbie doesn't know what's about to happen. He doesn't know that he's about to become Carnage. He just knows that Cletus Cassidy is a monster of a man. This is all after, before Lieutenant Lee runs up, she's like, fuck this, I'm going up there. And some beat cop, some fucking old guy is like, hey, he loves his job.
Well, she says, you like your job? She goes, what? He's like, because Cassidy loves his. What does that fucking mean?
And then it cuts back to her, and she nods. And she's like, I understand what you're saying. Hey, Lieutenant Lee, can you explain what this person
pause?
Is to you? He loves his job of throwing bombs.
Murder? Yeah.
So do you love your job of stopping murderers? And like, that's so much to think about. And she just nods and says like, or maybe she's like, this is the oldest man on the force. I probably
just gotta nod anytime like, Frank says anything.
Fucking good old Frank. So eventually they get up to things. Spider-Man's swinging around and he's like, Mary Jane, Black Cat, who do I love? Aunt May, Aunt Anna. Do I love Aunt Anna? Should I marry Aunt Anna? Gargoyle. you tell me, should I marry Aunt Anna? And then finds what's going on. And then eventually he does kick down like a metal door, right?
I think eventually he kicks down. Yeah, it's because the door blew up and then is closed again. But yeah, he kicks his way in, and now there's cops behind him. But Cletus has a plastique like suicide vest on.
Very nice.
And so 90s. And he's just like, if you stop me from killing her, I'll kill us all. And Spider-Man's just like, what?
Buddy, honestly, you're not even wearing a costume right now. Like, what you're doing right now is not even based on an animal. So, like, I don't have time for this. If everybody always talks about, like, if you go back in time, would you kill baby Hitler? Okay, we're not going to talk about that. If you go back in time, would you kill every baby named Cletus? Like, if somebody names their baby Cletus, isn't that just a recipe?
Well, I'd certainly kill Cletus's parents.
Okay.
Has there ever been a good Cletus?
No, like, you had every name in the world, and you were like, Cletus. I want to name my baby Cletus, and I'm sure he won't become a psychopath that is desperately wanting a symbiote to take over his body.
Or some sort of slack-jawed yokel with a sweet theme song. His name is mispronouncing the plural of cleat. The thing that goes on a sports shoe.
The ultimate insult. I do have to say, though, that somebody busts in, whether it's Lieutenant Lee or Spider-Man, and then it cuts to him giving his smile, and it is horrifying. Mike,
yes.
Why are smiles so scary and frowns so hilarious? Like, if you ever see somebody who is frowning, you have no choice but to laugh at them.
Like that thumbs down meme guy?
You are comically sad right now. But if you're smiling, I'm scared as fuck.
Yeah, I don't. Fuck you, Santa, at the mall. Spider-Man ignores him because he's not an animal, as you said, Ryan, and so he just whips off the plastique and hears... I don't know if Spider-Man hears that he has 30 seconds, but Cletus is like, well, we're all going to die now, and Spider-Man, like, yo-ho rodeo, spins the bomb up, and it is a big bomb because he chucks it in the air, and it lights every building in the neighborhood's roof on fire and still shockwaves down everybody in Cletus's apartment.
Cletus knows that this is going to kill everybody, and he whips it up. It does take Spider-Man probably more time than it should to say the sky is the place for this bomb, but he does eventually whip it up, and it explodes, and just like, like fires, like not fires, but like
just fires.
They're just fires. Like, everybody grab the extinguisher next to them, and then you will be fine. Then we cut to the park.
Kids are making out.
Just a couple of kids making out, not even noticing every building has one single room on fire. They don't care because they're in love. And the symbiote strikes again. Am I saying that right? Am I being
Jenny Slate?
Jenny Slate here?
No, she said symbiote.
Symbiote. Okay.
Or symbiote. She said it dumb. You're saying it fine.
But I do notice that when this one hits, there's a little bit of red on it. There's a little bit of red in its ledger.
What could that mean? Oh, there's red. It was Black Widow. It runs. This is the one thing that stops these kids from playing Tonsa hockey is a meteor hits and they go, we should go check it out. And they get symbioted instantly.
Yeah. But that'll probably be the end of their story.
Yeah.
They can't have two terrible things happen to them in this. Spider-Man's like, what a fucking day. This can't get worse. Oh, my God, Madam Web.
She shows up and he's like, I knew it was going to be you. I smelled you coming from a mile away.
Not, I spidey sensed you. I smelled you coming with your fucking... she just smells like that fucking like mothballs and like old gravy.
Old perfume. And I love this sassy old bat. She says, well, good, because you've always been good at deducing the pathetically obvious. She fucking hates Spider-Man, man.
Oh, God. He's a smart guy. He does his best. And she's like, well, I mean, you've always been a piece of shit moron, so I guess this will help. Here's some very coded messages. And then he's like,
yeah.
Tell me what do you want to tell me?
Keep your enemies close. And your friends not as close as the enemies. I think she said it better.
And your mothballs in your pit. And always pour Monster Energy drink all over you so you get this Madam Web smell. And he's like, so you give me all the details about your smell, but not like how I'm supposed to save the world. And then we cut to what I'm going to call Marvcom Asylum.
Yes.
No, Ravencroft, right? It does have
Which is a.k.a. Marvcom Asylum.
But another one of those things where Marvel's like, we should have an Arkham.
Well, us too.
And then Eddie Brock...
This one's a castle.
Eddie Brock is sitting in there in the most natural way for a man to sit. Just fucking muscles everywhere, just being like, God damn everything. You know what? I have no time to do anything in prison but just to be like, God damn everything.
It seems like maybe he's just narrating to nobody, and he's just like, I became a journalist because I wanted to help people, but then it was Spider-Man's fault, while flashbacking to be like, I'm going to get money from this one fucking people over. Like, the flashbacks are showing what a liar he is.
I do have to say that the flashbacks do help me out because how sporadically we watch these episodes, it does feel like it's been 6 years since we... So... it turns out that in this show, Eddie Brock came to become Venom in every other way that he always has been. So that helped me out.
That's good.
Yeah. Go ahead.
When he says it's Spider-Man's fault, then we zoom out and Marvelly Quinn is there talking to him. I like how we do this. And she's like, no, Eddie, there was no Venom. This is all stress-related delusions. And you're like, okay. She's like, from Spider-Man's unfair persecution of you. What the fuck?
Anyway, I'm going to go talk to my Aunt Anna, my favorite aunt, who hates Spider-Man. Like, do you know what Pascal's wager is?
It's the wager I play every day. I don't know.
It's that thing of like, even if you're an atheist, like on your deathbed, just pray to God.
Sure.
Because why not? If you're Eddie Brock's fucking shrink, don't you play a little bit of Pascal's wager and be like, I think that this was true. When you get that symbiote back, maybe don't come and get me.
When we saw him on the news as Venom, because everything is on the news in this town, like, I think she just wants the bone. She's so clearly into Eddie, so she's like, it's Spider-Man's fault, but there's no Venom, because that would creep me out.
And that probably doesn't work on Eddie, does it? There's no way that Eddie can fall in love. But I always love a character in these shows who have seen fucking everything, have seen Ghost Rider shoot at Galactus while Mr. Fantastic punches Superman. And they're like, that's probably not true what you're saying. Anyway, she goes away, and then who comes in?
This surprised me.
But Hannibal Lecter. No, they just walk Cletus in, right? He's not given the whole dolly and mask. He's walking.
No, but I don't think he's even there yet, is he?
Yes, in this version that I'm telling called Ryan, he is in,
yeah.
And he gets brought in, and Eddie Brock is like, I'm not a prisoner like these people. And when he says these people, it's like this laughing ginger maniac.
And which I get. I'm not a podcast host like these people. This laughing ginger maniac.
And Mike, we've read, we've watched, we've seen so many Spider-Man stories, so many Venom stories, so many Carnage stories. At this point in all of those, what else would happen?
Right.
But for Dormammu to come in and say, Baron Mordo, I need you, please.
Get Eddie on my side, and then we're going to get the last piece of the puzzle at Stark Enterprises. What? Dormammu and Mordo entering this blew my nutsack off. So surprising.
I mean, is this a case of like, this really is a 13-part series that we're watching in this season? Is this a case of the classic two assistants of executives run into each other and all of their script pages fly in the air and they put together a script? Dormammu now?
Also, Dormammu, when his head is just normal person side, looks like a doof. He's not as intimidating.
Did you see when Dormammu looked to the side and looked like kind of like a slutty chick?
No.
Yeah,
what?
That was your Mamu.
Let's cut to Deborah and Peter are going to see an interdimensional probe demonstration.
Well,
we haven't seen Deborah in a while.
Yeah, well, she wears glasses, and isn't she into Flash at this point?
Yeah, she has been for a while.
And always cannot say a single sentence without pushing her glasses up. So thank you, Deborah, for protecting the fucking reputation of
She has a greasy face.
Dormammu's like, I need two things. One, Venom, because he's full of rage. That's so good for me. As the Lord of Hell, I have to go find some ex-New York paper photographer. And two, this other thing. Cut to Tony Stark.
This other thing.
Has invented the fucking...
interdimensional probing. And Doc Connors is there and he is pumped. He's like, oh, we're gonna see some interdimensional shit, man.
What is the sound of one hand clapping? It's Doc Connors watching this seminar.
Parker's less enthusiastic because he's like, I think only bad things will come from other dimensions.
And first, good call, Peter. Way to go. I wish you were that smart all the time. Second of all, in the seminars, explanation of how this works, they send a pyramid from one place to the other. They're like, we're just going to launch this pyramid.
So much does it. So first they're walking, and Jim Rhodes is just in the hallway, glaring, looking pissed, and they just walk by him and go, "That's Jim Rhodes." And then they're sitting down, and before the zoom, Tony Stark zooms into this. Dude. He can't even bother to be there for his reveal,
despite the fact that he invented portals and could be like, wherever
I got
he
stuff
wants
to do. Or maybe he's like, "This will blow up and kill everybody. I'm not going to be there." Jim, you handle it. Before it starts, Parker looks around again because this might be the smartest Peter Parker has ever been in this show. He goes, "That's Mordo. That's Baron Mordo. Mordo's going to try to steal the thing."
I think, it's Dr. Connors who's like, "This is Arden Broom." And Peter looks at his facial hair and he's like, "That's Baron Mordo. Let me rearrange the letters. Arden Broom is the same letters as Baron Mordo. That's fucking Baron Mordo."
And then before anything happens, we cut to Eddie, and he has a visitor he doesn't recognize, but that visitor does have a pretty sweet black leather jacket.
Who's that?
The leather jacket. I think that was one of the makeout kids. The leather jacket is Venom and jumps onto Venom. Eddie. And then the doc is there, and he's like, "Do you believe us now, doctor?" He's no longer trying to get with her. He's just being a sassy bitch.
Well, for 1 second, like that's sort of a pickup move is like
negging.
I hope that we hook up at some point, but for right now, do you believe us now?
Cletus is in the other stall. Are they prison stalls? And he's just so upset that he doesn't get power. He's like, "Why does he get it?" And then Dormammu shows up, and him and Venom are just chatting. And Dormammu calls Mordo his assistant, which tickled me. It felt very off. Like, my assistant will handle that.
I know. And like, Baron Mordo is always like trying to one up his contemporaries, let's say. But then I guess Dormammu's assistant, that's a good role. Dormammu was always talking about how Venom, it's just his rage and his focus on bringing down the system. Again, I can't get over the fact that this is like the Lord of hell. Not like the hell, but like hell. It's just like, Eddie Brock, that's our guy.
Give me that big angry dummy.
But Dormammu does say at some point, I don't know, do you want to get to the fight or do you want to get to the... Let's get to the big fight that happens.
Okay. So Venom shows up, right? Things are on fire. Tanks are just rolling down the street, shooting willy-nilly.
Tanks are so nervous. New York tanks are so nervous that they refuse to aim and shoot wherever Venom could maybe be if my eyes were closed at any point.
Because he's inside, I think, at this point.
Right.
So they're just shooting outside.
And I mean, that's a big, like, hell yeah for Venom. Like, they're just shooting at each other at this point.
He's winning. Deborah notices Peter always disappears when something goes bad. Venom is snapping guns on his knee anytime guards try to run at him with guns. They, as if they were like Harry Potter and Voldemort, they don't do like my light versus your light, but Spidey and Venom do both web at each other.
Right.
But Venom got that thick hog web, and it knocks Spidey's web out of the way and glues Spidey to the wall.
Also, I got to say, because like as one of like the alpha males that you know, is like somebody who talks a lot about manliness and how to be more manly, going from the top of the hand instead of the flick of the wrist, that's just more manly web.
Manly web.
And Spidey does point out say at one point, this is a stronger Venom than I've ever seen before.
Yeah. We don't know why.
Well, symbiote went to space, learned like how to be better, and then did it.
War Machine shows up, and nobody asks, but he says, "I'm taking care of things while Iron Man's away." Okay, bud.
Now, I just want to make this clear to you, Mike. James Rhodes, the person who was passing out pamphlets at the front door of the seminar,
looking so angry,
just like, I guess this is my job now, is to pass out pamphlets. He has the War Machine armor, and now he has all these weapons, and I don't know if you counted, but there are 17 guns spread out across his body.
War Machine. We cut to a random news reporter who's just like, "Well, this creature has a striking resemblance to Spider-Man."
Which is something that and I've never seen any of them, but I believe the Venom movie trilogy never pointed out.
No, they're not allowed.
Is that this person looks exactly like a big buff black Spider-Man. Yeah.
Mordo is just watching. He's just watching the fight.
Oh, man.
And then,
have you ever been busted like this? Like, the fight is going okay. Like, we're not sure who's going to win. And then it cuts to Mordo, who is just hiding behind chairs. He is just watching from behind chairs, and then Dormammu busts his head in and says, "What the fuck are you doing, dude?"
Doing? He's like, "That symbiote was pregnant and has a kid, so go do something useful and get that kid." He's like, "What?" But
Dormammu thinks ahead, and he was like, "What if I left a little bit of the symbiote off of Venom?"
Just because he was pregnant. Before we cut to what happens with that, there is a shot of so Venom did web Spidey a little high on the wall, and he's just jumping and can't reach him. And like, I don't know why they put this in.
Your job, directors, showrunners, animators, is to make the villain look as badass as possible, and you crippled it in the scene where Venom is like a cat with a little snack 2 feet above their head.
If you've ever teased an animal or a toddler, that's what Venom looks like trying to get at it. And then we see another person we've never seen before, unless you'd looked at the teens making out, with a different colored leather jacket. This one's red. Roll in and just take out some cops. And she says to Cassidy, "You have to first swear to serve Dormammu." And he's like, "Yeah, sure, whatever. Give me that shit. Give me whatever that is."
He says, "I think I'm into what this guy is into." Which, whatever. Who cares?
But he's also somebody who's like, "Give me the power now. I do not care about what happens next." I don't think he's swearing allegiance to anybody.
No, but like, I do want to know what in that contract Cletus would have been like, absolutely not. No, that is a line for me.
Well, especially because part of the contract is they say once you bond with it, it will reflect your hatred for humanity and your lust for destruction. Hell yeah, brother.
And yeah, I do love how like the cartoon made it clear. This episode made it clear that like you'll be like Venom but different. Similar but different is what Mordo says. And so that like whatever Eddie...
That's why he has the...
Yeah, whatever Eddie Brock's version of having the symbiote is, you'll be Cletus's version of having that. And... I got to be honest, Mike. I'm not even sure if I read these comics, but the difference is that Cletus is crazier. Like Eddie Brock has like a way that you can talk to him and like, level with him. But then also the other big difference is that Cletus can make his symbiote make sheaths or scythes.
Yeah,
is that the big difference?
That he always has nasty
it's just always
sea animals like snotting out of him a little. And
it's like if you're eating lunch next to him, some of that's going to get on you. Like just snot is going to be in your sandwich.
Just little red snot. He escapes. Then we cut back to the fight. Spidey's like, "Hey, War Machine, sound hurts them." Then Carnage rolls in. He's like, "I'm your offspring." And Venom says, "That's right. I do remember giving birth."
Yeah. And because the symbiote just holds back memories until they're very, very important. When Spidey says, "Hey, War Machine," he hates sound. War Machine does my favorite Iron Man type character thing of saying, "Oh, I have something like that," and pushes the one button on his arm that I don't know what else that button does, but what it does is hit the sound cannon, and now he's blasting.
Buzz. Venom is very jealous that Dormammu sent him because he thinks that means he doesn't trust him.
I thought this was great because Venom was like, "I'm proud of my son. I'm jealous of my son. I'm confused by everything that's happening right now." Mm-hmm. This is kind of good.
The psychiatrist shows up, and Venom is all excited to show off how buff and strong he is. And Carnage instantly, they just bonded. And now he's like, "You sentimental old fool. Kill them all."
And then we find out that Venom does have feelings.
Because the psychiatrist has to see Eddie's face one last time before she dies. Carnage does call him dad and then says, "Let's kill Spidey together." Cliffhanger.
Cliffhanger to be continued. So what do you think?
It was fun. Though I gotta admit, maybe because when I was born and then when it is now, when I saw that the episode was called Venom Returns, I was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
But because this show is so crazy... They gave us Dormammu and Mordo. Yeah. I was like, yes.
You probably saw the title, Venom Returns, and you were like, oh, that sucks. I won't get to see my favorite characters, Dormammu and Baron Mordo. And Mike, you were wrong. Let's get to some awards. We're going to start off with most 90s thing.
At one point, Cassidy, before he becomes Carnage, says, "Exactamente." And saying words stupid is so 90s.
That's not true. People still do it to this day. People refuse to say things normal, and yet exactamente is the most 90s thing I've ever heard.
It's the
Mike,
90th.
That is what I put. You get 500 points.
Yes.
Zinger.
My web zinger, I, of course, wrote down, do you believe us now, doctor? Very sassily.
Yeah. And this is the girl that he wants to hook up with later in the night. So like it's such a weird, like, you're salting your own game, bud. My zinger was Carnage laughs for the 400th time in this episode, and Spidey's like, it's not that fucking funny. It was such a good point. But I will give you I'll give me 500 points. New York moment.
Look, kids are always making out in filthy, dangerous parks in New York where they should not be and running right towards danger.
Do you know what was not New York about that moment? How little they were doing. Because if it was really New York, they would have been past dry humping into, let's see if
kids grow up so fast in that city.
My New York moment was just random tanks shooting buildings at whatever. How many times do you see that per day?
1,000.
Yeah. And yet I will still give you 100 points for that. Action move?
The Kung Fu grip is, come on, thick hog's webbing is more strong than your light little webbing.
Dude, Venom has those muscles. Like, his suit makes more muscles. He has that butt. Like, Spider-Man has to be jealous. And then that web is stronger. But mine is towards the beginning, which, can we point out, is rare, because most of our words come from the last 3 minutes of the show.
Oh, shit, I need to take notes.
But halfway through Cletus's speech about what he's going to do, Spider-Man just picks him up and fucking throws him out a window. And that was good. So I'm going to give myself 95 points for that.
Fair.
Cassie compliment.
Cassie once looked at you and I in the eyes and said, I know you guys aren't good friends now, but once you bond, it will reflect your hatred for humanity and your lust for destruction.
How does she know that?
That was very smart of her. She saw the future.
Mine's very close to that. It's the time where the Zoom cameras were down when we were trying to podcast. Mm-hmm. And Cassie said, guys, let me see your face for a moment. Now you have your power back. Are you still going to fight injustice? And then she died.
And that's why she's not here tonight.
What a powerful moment. And I'm going to give myself 6 points for that, which means I win 601 to 600. That's a close battle.
Nail biter. Barn burner. Butt clencher.
Mike, I have a way for you to get a couple more points. Can you tell us about other shows that we have on the network?
We, of course, also have our sibling show, Movie of the Year, which is wrapping up still for its 18th week, 1984 finale episode.
Did you try to exaggerate by saying 19th week, and that was actually exactly accurate?
And I was like, shit, that's how long it's fucking been. But we are wrapping up the finale. I think part 2 is about to come out or just came out, and there will be part 3.
Oh, what about for the Umbrella Academy? I forgot to do that part.
The Umbrella Academy, you did not forget. We're doing it right now.
Yeah.
Go over to our pals across the pond at TV Podcast Industries for Umbrella Academy Season 4.
Popfilter.co is where you can find everything that we do, including these podcasts and so much more. Popfilter.co/Amazon is where you should do your shopping. At Your Popfilter on Instagram. At PopFilterCo on YouTube. At PopFilterCo on YouTube is what I want to focus on right now, because that is such a cool way to have our shows play, but do other stuff on your computer.
Do other stuff. But ignore a meeting that you're in, because I assume you're Zoom working. On Instagram, you should DM us, slip into those DMs, questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, feelings, because it's our 550th episode coming up.
What is a more important anniversary than the 550th? Mike, what are you going to get your wife for the 550th anniversary?
Probably a bigger urn for both of our ashes.
You make so little money. She's been asking you for a bigger urn since you guys got married.
I just don't earn enough.
Email us at contact@popfilter.co. That's where most of the questions, comments, and statements and things should go for next week's episode. It's going to be a big one, guys. It's going to be a long one. We really want you to be there. We're going to talk about the episodes from next week really quick, but most of it is going to be all emails all the time. Mike, give us an example of an email.
Sure. Here. I printed out this email.
Sound effect.
And it says, if you could have one show come back that you guys used to watch that has been canceled, what show would that be?
Dark Matter.
It's Dark Matter and the Adventures of Captain Mark Datter, of course.
Do you think Cassie will also think that?
I bet. She definitely doesn't think we made up that show.
If you have any questions about our personal lives,
let's get real.
What we think about superheroes, what we think about superhero TV, what we think about non-superhero TV, I would love for an email to say, hey, Ryan and Mike, you guys watched Homicide, Life on the Street all week. What do you think about it? And we will tell you.
I've been rewatching Friday Night Lights.
That's so 2022. Rewatching Friday Night Lights is 2022. Rewatching Homicide is 2024.
Well, it's football season, Ryan, so that's what I do instead of watching football.
I do like that. For Micah.
My favorite kind of material.
What is that the thing? What is that again?
I think it's what goes on like the shitty plastic that goes on counters.
Or it's like, do you like hang plants? Like you make a big Formica thing and then you know what's fucked up? There's no thing called For Ryana, but For Micah and For Ryana. My name is Cassie, and keep watching them comic book based TV shows. We're out.